we were returning favors at a rate when we met you. We were moving so fast, and I was working on another project at the same time, and it was coming at me from all sides. What I remember is we had a really great day together.
We did.
I remember you laugh. I remember you making me laugh. I remember making you cry. I remember I think Corey might have cried.
Corey cries all the time.
He's a crier.
He cries all the time.
Right. Your kids, I don't know that they cried, really. They were more bemused.
They don't. No, they don't cry.
And I really didn't know the extent to which things have apparently taken off for you guys.
Blown up, exploded.
Blown up real good?
Real good.
All right. What's the state of the union over there at Isaiah House?
So the day is kind of a blur for me too, because I didn't know what was happening. I truly believed a small documentary company was coming, and then this guy walks in that supposedly is famous, and everybody is really excited about it.
You just looked at me as if, like, another man has walked in off.
Well,
of the
everyone
street.
in the room was looking at you like you were supposed to be a big deal. So I, I thought you were supposed to be a big deal. I mean, I thought I was supposed to know you. That's what I kept thinking as you were walking to me. I thought, I'm supposed to know him. I'm supposed to know him. The whole day, I just couldn't understand what was happening. So it's the day itself is kind of a blur for me as well. But what happened after is very crystal clear in my mind. So our episode was supposed to air on March 16th of 2020. Sarah, your producer, lovely Sarah.
She's the best.
Calls me and says, oh, we changed it. We're going to air your episode on September 9th.
September?
March 9th of 2020.
So the 6th to the 9th.
The 16th to the 9th. We're moving it up 1 week. We're moving your episode up.
Oh.
And not much else happened in the year 2020.
March 9th. So that was the week of the lockdowns.
Exactly.
Right before.
Right. So California lockdown on Friday the 13th.
So we dropped March 9th. 2 million people watched it. March 13th, the world shuts down.
Yeah.
March 16th, when we were supposed to air, 10,000 people watched that episode because nobody was watching anything.
Nobody's
except
watching
the news.
anything. Right.
So now everyone's locked down in their house. And you know what they're doing, Mike? They're watching Returning the Favor. And you know what they hear you say? You need a Rhonda. And you know what they decide to do? Call Rhonda. Because when you went to our website, my cell number was there. My cell.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Oh, God, I doxed you.
Yeah. So everybody called Rhonda because Mike Rowe, the famous guy who knew, everyone knows you're famous, baby,
Almost.
decides to call Rhonda. And 41 states and 4 countries reached out in the month of March wanting an Isaiah 117 house.
Okay. Good for us. That's great.
What?
I'm being a really bad host. Let's just back up for the uninitiated.
Okay.
First of all, give me the scripture.
Isaiah 117
Quote
says, do good, seek justice, take care of the widow, take care of the orphan.
Got it. I knew that. Just want to see if you had actually
Thank you,
committed
thank
to
you.
You
memory
passed
as
the
well.
test, Rhonda.
Yes, thank you. If you look at Isaiah 117, if you look at that whole context, God is speaking to his people. And what he says is, you think I want what you're currently doing? Like, you think I want these new moon festivals and these sacrifices? No, they're actually making me sick to my stomach. What I want from my people is for you to do good and seek justice and take care of the widow and take care of the orphan. And my husband Corey and I found that verse as we were staring into the face of our very first foster placement, which was a 9-month-old little boy named Isaiah. And when you are looking in the face of a little boy that you just met, who's now completely dependent on you and your family for everything, that verse just hits different.
His name was Isaiah.
Yes.
And did you immediately think of the scripture, or did this somehow triangulate later?
Well, we decided to read the Bible because if you have talked your husband into foster care and you haven't had a baby in your house in 9 years and your husband actually had a procedure so that would never happen again.
Yeah, it's all
and
coming
all of
back
a
to me.
sudden there's a 9-month-old, things get tense.
Yeah.
And things get said like, you got us into this. And so then you say things like, we should read the Bible together.
That'll fix it.
We should read the book of Isaiah. Wouldn't that be fitting?
That sounds great. We were going to watch Saving Private Ryan, but now we're going to go through Isaiah, one verse at a time. You had to persuade your husband, who's sitting right there checking his Facebook status, no doubt, or maybe calling an early Uber.
I'm very persuasive.
How'd you get him to come around? And I know you're probably sick of telling this story, but it's important. I think there are probably a lot of people listening who are, at least I hope, who will be convicted or possibly compelled to try and do something good, kind, decent, or better as a result of all this. But they have to understand, too, that those actions can have consequences, both unintended and intended, and that compulsion can impact those closest to them, and probably will. Like, that's the price that nobody ever talks about. And I tried to talk about it a lot on Returning the Favor, because people think about charities and they think about foundations like they're hobbies, but they're not. They're businesses with even more, in many cases, layers and challenges. And some of those can get pretty personal, including vasectomies.
That was pre-Isaiah 117.
Was it?
It was. No, Corey has sacrificed a lot. Yes, my family has sacrificed a lot. That is true. No, I did coerce, manipulate Corey into going to classes to learn about foster care. That is true. He thought he was going on a date. We ended up
right
in foster care classes.
Yeah. Boy, that sounds great.
That date did not end like most dates should. I will say that. I will say that. But we went to that first week. He didn't say he wouldn't go back, so he did go to week 2. He did go to week 3. When we left week 3.
No, wait. This is a date, but you're not dating. You're married at this point.
Right. I asked him to go out on a date.
Yes.
He got his mom to watch the kids.
Date night.
We went out to eat. And then I said, hey, why don't we drive out to this church? And he was like, on our date. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be hot.
Hot date at the church. And we pulled in. There was tons of cars in the parking lot. And he was like, lots of people dating at the Crossroads Christian Church. And I was like, yeah.
This place goes off.
Everybody's here. And so we go in, we sit down. This lady stands up. Welcome to your 8-week study of foster care. I mean, he was so not happy. I tell everybody there was this notepad, and we're supposed to take notes about the children, and he was writing hateful little notes and shoving them over. I was like, we're going to get kicked out. And he's like, oh, I hope so. I mean, he was so mad at me. But in between, so we drove home that night, and we did not speak. We did not speak all night long. We rolled opposite directions, didn't touch, didn't speak. And then the next morning we got up and we didn't discuss it. We just acted normal. And then week 2, we just met in the driveway and we drove out without speaking, and we drove home without speaking. And then week 3, we met in the driveway and we drove out without speaking. And when we were coming home week 3, he said, I don't want to do this. And I said, hey, fair enough. I mean, you've been a good sport. I tricked you into it. We made it 3 weeks. Fair enough. And he said, oh, don't, fair enough, me, Rhonda. And I said, what? And he said, you and the Lord have wrecked me. I am a wrecked man. He was like, you've known me for 20 years, and I like simple, safe, and predictable. And I don't know if you've noticed, but not one thing we have learned about the foster care system sounds simple, safe, or predictable. And I do not want to do this. But now I know. Now I know there are kids in our community with nowhere to go.
Now you know. See, that's the witnessing I was talking about.
Now I know.
You can't just see it.
Yeah.
Well, you can actually. A lot of people can. Some people can. Which is why that episode was as much about him as it was you. Mm-hmm. Sorry, we don't have another mic, Corey. I'd hook you up. All right, he's good. But seriously, I mean, wow, it's like that scene in It's a Wonderful Life. You remember
It's
when
my favorite Christmas movie.
It's a great movie.
It's my favorite.
But guess what? It's not a Christmas movie.
Oh, don't do that to me. Every Christmas Eve.
I know. It takes place at Christmas.
It's like Die Hard.
It's like Die Hard,
Yes.
not a Christmas movie.
Well, wait. I mean, I'm just kidding.
In fact, it's kind of a horror movie, really. If you, I mean, what is more horrifying than to wake up one day and not have anyone you love know you? I mean,
okay, we need to stop this. Okay, that is my favorite movie.
I'm not, well, in the same way that you wrecked your husband's life, let me wreck your favorite movie, okay?
Corey, have I wrecked your life?
I'm the luckiest man.
There you go. There you
He's the
go.
luckiest
I'm
man
the
in the world.
luckiest man in the world.
On cue. On cue.
I have been blessed beyond my means. Life is good. No, there's a scene where he's on the Donna Reed is on the phone with Sam Wainwright, who's got all the money, right? And he's Jimmy Stewart's there, and he loves her, but he doesn't want to love her, and he's jealous, but he doesn't want to be jealous, and he's got plans to travel the world. He's got all these plans in his mind, and he's so sure of it, but he saw something. You know, he can't deny how he's feeling when he sees this woman talking on the phone with this guy, and her mother's on the extension upstairs listening, remember, and Jimmy's there like, I'm not going to do it. I hate, he's just absolutely twisted up with this incredible cognitive dissonance and realizing that, yeah, man, it really doesn't matter what I want anymore.
Oh, that's how he's lived 27 years. God love him. Oh, that's what it's like being married to me. Oh.
Everybody needs a Rhonda.
I said, do not say that.
No, look, I just think that moment in that movie is so relatable to so many people because it's when you crumble. Like it's when you know, like you can't quite say, okay, done. Since you put it that way, let's do it. It's prior to that, but it's also after you kind of know the jig is up, you know, and so what happened in week 4?
Well, now we're united, you know, so now we're in it. And I mean, it's just so eye-opening. I tell people all the time, because we have people come up and say, I don't know, I've always thought maybe, but my husband's not on board, or I've always thought maybe, but I'm like, just go take the classes. You're not signing up for anything. Just go take the classes. They're free. Just go take them, because it is so eye-opening just to learn. And I do believe that for a lot of people, that if they knew, you just got to know what's going on in your community. I think a lot of people would have a hard time turning a blind eye. And so that's what it was like for us to sit there week 4, week 5, weeks, just to learn what the children are going through. And that literally they're in class with my children. They're on the soccer team with this. It's not these kids. It's not those kids over there. No. They're going to school. Yeah, they're on the soccer team. And it was just so heartbreaking. So heartbreaking.
So what happens after the course?
So after the course, I would like to say that we were so moved and so convicted that we just immediately said yes, but it's not true. I mean, we said no for almost a year.
No to
calls.
No to calls.
I
Why?
mean, it's a hard yes.
Yeah.
It's a hard yes. I mean, when they call you at, 2 a.m. and say, we have a sibling group of 3 and they have 0 possessions and they all have lice, can we bring them to your home right now? It's a hard yes. I mean, we didn't even own a car big enough to go from a family of 4 to a family of 7 overnight. That's a hard yes. I tell people all the time, the hardest thing God asked me to do through this whole process was to get a minivan. But I did it. And so we literally, I did it. And it's true. Once you do it, you can't go back. They're like, it's amazing. But anyway, we lived in this 100-year-old farmhouse that we had redone. It only had 3 bedrooms, so we sold it and bought a home with more bedrooms. We sold my car and bought a minivan, and we spent a year just kind of getting ourselves ready until we finally got the call for a 9-month-old little boy, and we said yes.
And that was Isaiah.
That was Isaiah.
If you like what you heard,
and even if you don't,
won't you please,
pretty please, subscribe. Well, I hate to beg and I hate to plead, but please, pretty freaking please, please subscribe.